I find it. Ready?
Ready. Eu gostaria de ir pescar amanhã.
Is it amanhã?
I'd like went fishing. Pescar de manhã.
Ah, okay.
Começou. Ah, Isso é porque tá em português, né? Imagina se tivesse inglês. I'd like went fishing in the morning.
Okay,
Teacher,
so
mas por que fishing? Na verdade, eu copiei do texto, né? Mas pescar
yeah, so
não
there
seria to fish?
so good. So when we have, for example, how do you say natação?
Swimming.
Ah, why?
I don't know.
Because
Eu só sei.
when we have activities like fishing, like swimming,
Ah,
like biking, now here, literally, it would be to fish because it doesn't change if you say, I would like to fish, I would like to go fishing. It's the same thing. But we usually use go fishing. It seems to me, in my experience, we use the activity more than we use the verb, the actual verb for it. So in that case, then it would be to go fishing would be more common, but to fish is the same thing. Now, your problem is that you copied it from the audio. What is went? In the audio, it says we went, right?
ah, yes, fui, né? Passado. No caso, ele
Fui.
vai.
In the case of the audio, I think it was we went, nos
Yes,
fomos. Yeah.
the year I like to go fishing. To go fishing
So
in
what's
the
the whole
morning.
sentence now?
I like to go fishing in the morning.
Close.
Então, close?
What is gostaria? It's not eu gosto, it's not I like.
Eu falei, I'd like.
Then and that's a very common pronunciation problem. You need to push the D. I'd like. Your tongue has to touch.
I'd like.
Yeah, your tongue has to touch up on the roof of your mouth. I'd like. I. You don't have to. I did it a little bit exaggerated when I said I'd like, but what your tongue has to close that gap there. I'd like. I'd like. I'd like.
I'd like.
There you
I'd
go.
like.
And so you
I'd like.
good. You can hear the difference. I'd like or I like, right?
I
I
like.
like the
I'd
air
like.
just continues where I'd like it stops that air. Just like that difference when a native speaker says I can't go or I can go. It's not like it's not like most people learn and how I teach new students is I teach them I can't go and I can go. But when we're speaking naturally, we say I can't go for the negative and I can go for the positive where in the natural statement then it's going to continue that sound's going to continue where that sound is cut in the negative.
I'd like
Perfect.
to go.
Mm-hmm.
Então, to go to fish isn't wrong.
To go to fish,
But
generally it would be because remember, to go to fish is to go somewhere else where usually you would, but in most cases, like here, uh, it would be more common to just say to fish. I'd like to
okay.
fish. But it's, yeah, you're right. It's not wrong to say I'd like to go to fish.
Okay. What's that? O que é isso?
Mm-hmm.
Estou com frio. Está muito frio aqui. I'm cold. It's very cold here.
Mm-hmm. Just remember, not code. Code é código.
Mm,
Cold.
cold.
99% of the L's in American English. La la la. Cold.
Cold.
Now cool.
Cold.
Now cool. Cold.
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 Yeah.
Cold.
Yeah.
Cold. He was lucky. Ele teve sorte.
Yes, and the reason that this is here is because it's different than in Portuguese, right? In Portuguese, we say, like you said the perfect translation. In Portuguese, if it were literal Portuguese to English, English to Portuguese, it would be ele,
Deu sorte.
yeah, ele, so ele estava sortudo, literally, is what we say in
Ah,
English. And in Portuguese, if it were Portuguese to English, it would be he had luck. But in English, most of the time, everybody has luck. The question is it good luck or bad luck? So we have this idea in English more of good luck, bad luck, where in Portuguese it's more the idea of having luck or not having luck. So there's a little bit different way to look at it.
entendi. Eu fui pra casa da minha tia. I went to my aunt's house.
Yeah, don't say it like that because that's British and also the way my mom says it. And to me, it sounds very frou frou. Say my aunt's house.
Aunt's house.
Yes. Although, I mean, if you
Yeah.
want to, go ahead. But my sisters and I always made fun of my mom when she said that because we would say our favorite aunt was our Aunt Kathy, and we would say we were gonna go to Aunt Kathy's house, and she was like, "Don't call her that. She's not a bug." Because bug, insect, inseto is bug, and ant is formiga, is the other ant is formiga. So she would be like, "Call her aunt," and we just pointed and laughed at her. Aunt, that's funny.
Aunt.
So I mean, if you really
Ai,
want
a
to,
risada é pior.
yeah, if you really want to, you can say aunt, but to me it sounds pretentious.
Aunt's house, ok. What happened? O que aconteceu? Eu fiquei lá no fim de semana. I stayed there at the weekend.
I stayed there. Usually we don't use at the weekend.
Não é at the weekend?
We usually don't use at the weekend. In fact, I don't know if we ever use at the weekend.
Não entendi, teacher. Tá,
We don't
perdida.
use at the weekend. Basically, is
Tá.
all I'm saying.
E aí eu uso o que no caso?
So, do you want to guess what
On the
preposition?
weekend.
Yeah. So, on the weekend, it could be on the weekend or over the weekend. Over the weekend gives the idea of from Friday to Monday, so the whole weekend. On the
Uhum.
weekend can be, but could also be part of the weekend.
Eu sabia, queria só ver se tu tava esperto.
I'm sorry, I don't understand Portuguese.
Esquece.
Still don't understand.
We didn't like country music.
Good.
Não gostávamos de música country.
Country. Oh yeah, no, sorry.
Country.
Country. Yeah, in Portuguese it would be country. That's right.
É.
I got a little excited.
De manhã, nadei no rio. In the morning, I swam in the river.
Close.
Swam.
No.
Close?
What letter does that word end with? What's the last letter in that word?
Swam?
Yeah, what's the last letter in that word?
N.
No.
Não?
No. M. Swam.
M.
Swam.
Ah, swam. Ah, então eu escrevi errado.
Sorry, I still don't understand.
Swam. Swam.
Okay, so then the other thing is
S-U-U-A-M.
whoa.
Yes.
No,
No.
that's really wrong. You really spelled it wrong. I think you
Ah,
were trying.
no, I'm sorry. It's a W.
Yeah,
E
okay.
eu achei que fossem dois U's.
I was gonna say maybe you were trying to write swimming, but I mean that's the only thing that would be close.
Swam. Ah, não, agora fez sentido. That's true. É verdade. Pode ser estar certo também.
Not usually. I
That's
have a lot
true.
of students that say that, but I wouldn't think that we would usually use it in that way. And notice here, what does true literally mean?
Sorry?
What does true literally mean?
Verdade.
True literally means verdadeiro.
Verdadeiro.
Verdade is truth because it's a noun. So
Ah,
in English we say isso é verdadeiro. In Portuguese then é verdade. So if we said literally what we say in Portuguese in English, then it would be that's truth.
com F no final?
No,
Truth.
th. Truth.
Ah, tá. Ok. Mas aqui nessa frase seria é verdade, né?
Right, because that's what we say in English. We don't say é verdadeiro. We say é verdade. How's his English?
Ah, nós andamos a
Wait,
cavalo na
how's his English?
ah, house?
His, yeah, how's his English?
Casa?
No,
Tô entendendo, teacher.
how is
How, não house.
how's
How is
how's his English?
his?
His, yeah. Uh-huh.
Ah,
Ask him how
melhor do que o meu.
ask him how his English is.
Melhor do que o meu, um pouco.
Okay, next.
Nós andamos a cavalo na semana passada. É, aqui eu tenho uma dúvida, mas vamos lá. We
English,
went.
English.
Ok. We went rode roses last week. Rode
Okay.
roses?
Okay, so first of all,
Andar a
roses
cavalo.
are rosas
Roses.
as roses. How do you say cavalos?
Rode. Horses.
Horses, better, yes. Because it's hard to ride a rose.
Horse.
Uh, so we,
Went rode
okay.
horses last week.
Why went? What is went?
É, fomos no passado, né?
Right. Do we have formals here?
No. É, mas aí eu acho que eu quis dizer assim, ó, went road, entendeu? Coloquei o road no passado na minha
Right, but
cabeça.
I fomos andamos no passado, right?
Ah, tá.
No, you could say we went horseback riding, and it's that same idea as fishing. If you're talking about the activity, then we went horseback riding, that's the action. But you would have to change rode, the verb, to horseback riding, then becomes the noun. And it would have to be in that construction. It would have to be we went horseback riding. But if you're going to use rode, you're going to take out went.
E aí? Eu não
So
sei,
so
andamos.
take out went. What does take out? What does take out
Tirar,
mean? Yeah, good. So
tirar.
take out went, and
Ok.
then and you can leave road. You can use road.
Road. We rode?
Yeah,
We rode. Não tem nada de went.
unless you say
We
horseback riding.
horses. We rode horses.
Opa, voltou para.
Horses.
Yeah,
Horses.
horses.
Eh, on last week,
How do you say de manhã?
in the morning,
How do you say ontem de manhã?
yesterday morning.
Cadê ainda?
Não tem.
Sumiu.
So last week,
Yep.
we rode horses last week.
Yep.
Ai, tem nada, tá inventando.
Now, there is,
In
I don't know if you remember, we talked about in the last week.
yes,
If I said we rode horses in the last week, what does that mean?
in the last week means um yesterday and 7 days pra frente.
7 days.
7 days pra frente, não, pra trás.
Yeah, okay. So 7 days before that. So the week before
Before that.
counting yesterday and the 7 days before it. Yeah, so it's inside of that week. Good. Which isn't a huge, it doesn't make a big difference if it were, for example, today, because today is the first day of the work week. So it would be the same. But if it's like Wednesday or Thursday, then it can make a big difference.
Make big difference. In the afternoon, my cousins,
So how do you say música country
country,
in English?
country,
Uh-huh.
cousins,
Yeah.
cousins.
Mm-hmm.
That in the afternoon, my cousins and I went fishing. À tarde, meus primos e eu fomos pescar.
Yep. And then just remember it's not
De novo,
afternoon. What's the pronunciation in the what?
afternoon,
Okay.
afternoon. De noite, ela foi para a casa da minha mãe. At night, she went to my mom's house. My uncle and cousins went fishing in the morning without my aunt.
If you want, yeah, that's okay. I'll let you. It's all
Aunt?
right. Aunt or aunt.
Aunt. Aunt. Meu tio e meus primos foram pescar pela manhã sem a minha tia.
Mm-hmm.
Nossa. Uncle, cousins,
Yeah, that's why it's
and
there to practice those uncle, cousins,
and
and aunt.
aunt. Nossa, escreve aunt o negócio, meu Deus. Eu não gostava, mas agora eu gosto. I didn't like, uh, but now I do. I like it.
Okay, I like it, but it sounds a little bit redundant if you say I like it. So I do is fantastic. There's just one little problem. What do we know
Hum,
about like? What are two important things that we know about like?
diga-me, tell me.
Now, I'm asking you, what are two important things we know
I
about
don't
like?
know.
Well, is it strong or weak?
Strong.
Like is strong?
Ah, do.
No, no.
Like, no. No, no, no.
Okay, yeah. So like is weak. What else? What
Mm-hmm.
other characteristic? What group of verbs is it part of? It's weak and it's in the
I don't
group that
know.
has want and need and like and
Mm-hmm.
prefer and love and hate. What do all of those verbs have in common?
Hum,
They're all medroso.
hum.
Remember, like
Então,
is
mas aí eu coloquei o it no final, não é? Não tem nada a ver.
not just at the end. I didn't like it. What it means is that we need an
Ah,
object. We need an object there. We need to say, if we don't say the thing that we didn't like, we need to say at least it, if it's singular.
hum. E aí eu tenho que pôr no começo e no final?
I'm sorry? What was the question?
Ah, ah, não sei, deixa eu ver.
Yes, you do.
Ó.
You know.
Não, peraí. Now I like it. Okay, I didn't like it, but now I like it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You would have to put it twice, but if you say, it sounds redundant to say, I didn't like it, but now I like it. And that's why your first answer was the best if you add
I do.
it. But yeah, exactly. I didn't like it, but now I do. And that's
Nice.
to avoid that or, that redundancy of like.
Yes, but now I do. You couldn't swim in the evening because it was too cold. É, você não podia nadar à noite. Eu escrevi, você não podia nadar à noite because estava muito frio.
Good. That's a good sign when you're mixing the two.
Porque estava muito frio.
And there's a perfect example of how in English we use too cold, and in Portuguese you can say frio
Aham.
demais or muito frio to mean the same thing.
Uhum. Ok. Qual é. Ah, que tal, né?
Uh huh.
Que tal na próxima quarta-feira? Que tal na próxima quarta-feira? How about next Wednesday?
Uh huh.
How about my cousin lent me a jacket? Meu primo me emprestou uma jaqueta.
Yep.
Eu estou começando a gostar da mesma música que você. I'm starting to like the same music as you.
Good.
As you. That's a good idea. É uma boa ideia.
Yes, it is. As a matter of fact. So let's test how. That's going to be it for today in this video, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.